Okay, so today we are going to do elephant toothpaste. That's what this is called. So you need a bottle, you need some 3% hydrogen peroxide, which you can get from like a pharmacy or the grocery store. You can use food coloring if you want to. You don't have to use a funnel, but I do have a funnel just to prevent all the spilling that could happen. And you need a packet of yeast. So if I'm doing this in the lab, I usually don't use yeast, I use potassium iodide. It's going to act as our catalyst, so it's going to speed up a reaction. So what we're doing is we're pretty much decomposing hydrogen peroxide. So hydrogen peroxide is H2O2. That per is meaning an extra oxygen. So think water H2O, hydrogen peroxide H2O2. And so this will decompose naturally over time. So if you open the bottle and just leave it, after a little bit of time, it will decompose naturally. This is going to make it happen faster. That's also why it's in a dark bottle. It's photosensitive. So if it was in a clear bottle, it would decompose faster. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make the yeast solution first. You want to dissolve the yeast in some water. You really just need a tablespoon of yeast or so. I'm just going to estimate. Know how much is in a packet of yeast. About a tablespoon. Let's just use the whole thing. It's almost empty. Oh, yeah, it's pretty much empty. So like one yeast packet is pretty much a tablespoon, so that's good. And then you just want to add a little bit of water. So we'll just add about 2 tablespoons of water. And we want to dissolve it as much as possible. Stirring. Looks like yeast is what makes bread rise. Oh, it smells like bread. All right, mix, mix, mix. It's not fully dissolved yet. Take a little work. I don't think it really matters if it's absolutely 100% dissolved, just mostly.
Well, that's why we have this.
That's right. Drop cloth is really important here. If you're using food coloring too, just note that, wherever you do it, that food coloring could get on the material, so that's why I'm doing it every time. Okay, so that's pretty much dissolved. I'll set that aside. And then I'm going to fill up the bottle with about half a cup of hydrogen peroxide. I'm just going to filling it a little bit more than half a cup. So just not very much at all. And let's add some food coloring to that. My kids chose green. It's a green bottle. How many drops? 3? Swirl it around. It's actually greener. I know it's hard to tell. And then we're going to add a little squirt of just soap. We're going to swirl around just a little bit again.
We're not doing anything.
Well, this one has hydrogen peroxide in it, which kids shouldn't really handle.
Oh, so we can do it.
Yeah, so we're going to move it a little closer to the camera. All right, so put a little funnel in. So we can add everything. And this one doesn't go as fast as Diet Coke and Mentos, so you don't have to worry about it like immediately going super explosive or anything. You have time. So I'm just going to pour this in. And you can see that it's making foam.
Whoa.
Already. It's rising up the bottle. It's pretty foamy. And depending on how much you add, and you guys want to put your hands here.
No way.
See, is it hot? Is it warm? Touch it. You can touch it.
warm.
It's warm. It's coming out, and it's going to come out for a long time. And sometimes you can make it a little bit more explosive if I added a little bit more yeast, or I used a higher concentration of hydrogen peroxide.
We're making
It would go up a little bit higher, and it sort of looks like, yeah, like a big tube of elephant toothpaste, and it's warm, so it's an exothermic reaction. So it's creating just water and oxygen, so it's safe to touch. Obviously, you shouldn't be drinking it. It's got soap in it. Might have residual hydrogen peroxide. You guys can touch it.
Toothpaste.
It does seem like toothpaste, doesn't it?
Elephant toothpaste.
Elephant toothpaste. It's a giant tube, and this will go on for a while until all of the hydrogen peroxide is decomposed. And again, play around with the amount of catalyst. I think if I do it again, I'll use more yeast because I want it to come up a little bit higher. But it is nice and warm, and you can even do a flame test with it. So if you have a popsicle stick and you light it and blow it out gently, so there's glowing embers, when you bring it close to here, it should relight with the presence of oxygen. So I suggest that you think about trying that at home. This is fun. All right, hope you enjoyed.